listening to High School Sports Talk on ESPN Radio, presented by VirginiaPreps.com. Now, live from Norfolk, Virginia, here's your host, Coach Ed Young.
Thank you, Thomas. We are here live from the Leroy Reynolds football camp here at the, where we at? We're at Lakewood Park in Norfolk. It is the, I think Matt said something about barking, the Dog Pound football camp. I tell you what, it is going to be really hot out here today, but it is the Leroy Reynolds Doghouse Youth Football Camp. Come on out here at 1612 Willowwood Drive in Norfolk. That's where we're at. Beautiful day out. The youngsters are out here and in camp. And speaking of camp and youngsters and how it all got started, our next guest, longtime friend of our show, longtime personal friend of myself, going back to the days at Norview High School. We shared an office space. Never could find my doggone pencils, pens, markers. He always seemed to have a ton on his desk, and he never seemed to have any on mine. He went on to bigger and better things, and I'm still looking for markers on my desk, but at a different high school. We bring it at this time, good friend of the show, Alan Williams. Alan, you out there?
I'm here, Ed. How you doing?
Hey, man, it's good to hear from you again. It's July, so I figure we have to have a Saturday in July where we get Alan Williams, because in a few weeks, nobody will get Alan Williams, including the family. Lisa and the three boys, right? It's three boys now, right?
That is correct. Yeah, three boys.
Now let's start the show off by giving the boys some credit, because I'm trying my damnedest to get them recruited. So who we got out there?
I have a 16-year-old rising junior, good baseball player, probably better in baseball than he is in football. And I have a rising freshman, Solomon. He is 14 and good football player, the tallest one in the group, 5'11" now. And then I have a 12-year-old that baseball, football, basketball player, and we are in Cooperstown, New York right now. And he's playing in Cooperstown this weekend, so I'm checking him in as we speak.
Wow, now I'm hearing a lot of football, a little bit about. Now, did these kids play any basketball?
He's a basketball player. He's a good point guard.
And I need a point guard badge. So when this interview is done, make sure I get in contact with this youngster so we can see if we can have a place for him to stay back here in Norfolk or in Suffolk, and we'll go from there. Now, don't tell anybody I'm recruiting, because then they'll accuse me of recruiting. But hey, Alan, new change of address, back to an old place. I understand you're going to be with the Indianapolis Colts this coming year.
Yeah, we're back in Indianapolis. Happy about it. Great opportunity for me and the family, and with a lifetime buddy, Coach Frank Reich, who's the head coach. We were together the first stint in Indy, so he asked me to come and coach the secondary, and I was more than happy to do it. Good to be back in Indianapolis.
Now, I was going to ask you, what was the association with Frank? And of course, if people don't know, Frank was a long-time quarterback in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken, especially with the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, Frank is. If you Googled him, he'd probably be. You'd see he has two of the best comebacks, or the greatest comebacks in NFL history and in college history, when they came back when Maryland was playing Miami in the early 80s. So good coach, good player when he played, and good offensive mind.
We are talking with Alan Williams, the defensive back coach now for the Indianapolis Colts, who started his football career at, let me see if I get this right, Norview High School, running back.
No, not Norview High School. It was the Tidewater Athletic Conference Neptunes. That's where I started my football career.
There we go, with the Neptunes. But you played your college football at William & Mary.
I did, yeah.
Okay.
I was a running back, small running back at William & Mary.
Okay, and that's why he now coaches defensive backs, because they didn't want him in the running back position, so he's now the defensive back secondary coach for the Colts. But now let's go through your NFL career, Alan, from first time right up to the Colts this second time.
Yeah, I started my career at Tampa Bay with Coach Tomlin. Got me into the league. They needed an assistant to help him coach the secondary, and that was my start with Coach Dungy. After when he left Tampa Bay, he took me with him to Indianapolis, and I coached the secondary for 10 years there. We won a Super Bowl and one loss. I'm 1-1 in Super Bowls. And then I coordinated for Leslie Frazier in Minnesota for 2 years. After that stint, I went to the Detroit Lions with Jim Caldwell for 4 years. And I just finished up that stint with him, and now I'm back to Indianapolis. And I never thought in my wildest dreams I would be back in Indy, but the family loves it. Great fans, great tradition, and we're back there and looking forward to another good stint with them.
Now, of course, when we look at your time in the NFL, and it's hard. You're saying this, and I'm thinking, wow, that's what 17, 18 years in the NFL. For those who don't know Alan, and the guy looks like he's 19 years old. He never ages, and it's amazing being playing in the coaching in the NFL that you've been there that long. Has the NFL pro game changed much in your eyes from day one with Tampa Bay as you get ready now for your 18th year?
Yeah, it does. It does. This is 18, and it has changed. There used to be a time when I first got in, we would go through our install and we would fit up the runs, and all the runs that we would fit up would be two-back runs: power, ISO, lead, toss, sweep, toss, crack, and they were all designed runs with the fullback. And now the fullback is almost extinct in the NFL. They're trying to use tight ends. They used to have 2 and 3 fullbacks on the roster now, and you're lucky if you have one. And the game is a lot more spread out. Run-pass options, RPOs. The option game has come back, but instead of just lining up in the backfield there, it's a run action with a bubble or the quarterback maybe a token running here and there. But it's changed dramatically from, for the most part, on first and second down, playing in the box in a phone booth to spreading the entire field out and getting the ball to the best players.
Now, obviously, your position is secondary. What kind of this, I'm going to assume, added pressure on you because there's going to be more receivers, more pass plays, more things you have to be ready for in the secondary as opposed to a lot of running power games. So as a defensive back coach in the NFL, how does this new stuff affect you?
Yeah, typically they're going to be just more DBs on the field or more DB types on the field. They used to be where you'd have a Sam, a Mike, a Will linebacker, and now you'll have the nickel is, or the third cornerback, or the third safety is a starter. And so with that, we have a lot more plays that are designed to attack the secondary than in the past. So just means that we better be on our toes that much more, and I better be doing a better job coaching than before.
Well, now, looking at the secondary, I try to do a little bit of homework before getting you on here and reading about the Colts. You got a defensive back. Your top guy is Pierre Desir. Am I correct?
That's right. That's right.
All right. And then what about some of the other guys that you have back there that you'll be coaching?
Yeah. Well, we drafted Quincy Wilson out of Florida last year, so he'll be a second-year player, and then we have a Nate Harrison, who's your listeners probably don't know about him, but a nickel type guy, plays inside. He's fast. He's tough. He's instinctive. He can change directions, and Nate Harrison, who's another one of our cornerbacks. And then safety-wise, our two top guys right now, we have Malik Hooker, who was drafted at Ohio State, number 1 for us, and Clayton Gathers out of UCF, and then T.J. Green, tall, fast, athletic safety from 6'3", probably 210, 215 out of Clemson. So those are the guys that will be vying for the starting position, but we'll see how it always shakes out. The way I like to do it is see who's most productive, see what the film says, and the best guys usually play. So we'll kind of see once we get through camp and get through the preseason how it shakes out.
We're talking with Alan Williams, defensive back coach for the Indianapolis Colts, making his second trip back to Indianapolis after the last few years with the Detroit Lions. Going into his 18th year in the NFL with Tampa Bay, Minnesota. Of course, like we said, Colts earlier in his career, and back with Frank Wright, the new head coach with the Colts. And, of course, now, Alan, when we talk Colts, I think everybody, the first name that comes up is your quarterback. Obviously, Andrew Luck, who did not play last year. There has been question about how healthy he will be for this year, and he plays. Obviously, it helps the Colts out a lot more. He's one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. He doesn't play. You've got a younger guy back there that I think has shown some really flashes of being a very good quarterback, Jacoby Brisket, if I got the name correct. Do you know anything? What's the latest on with Luck?
I don't. It's during this time of year, not most, but probably all the staffs keep their injury reports under wraps, and that's no different from us. We do hope that he gets back, but if he doesn't, it's Brissett. He's Jacoby. He's started last year, played well, and did a good job. And I'm sure at some point Luck will be back with us. We're just not sure when. But like you said, he is a game changer. He's a dynamic quarterback, accurate quarterback, tough quarterback, smart, and whenever you can get your starting quarterback back, it's a good thing. Gives you a better chance of winning.
Now, I was looking through the roster to see if there's any, state of Virginia guys based on your preseason roster. The only one I see is from, of all places, your long snapper is Luke Rhodes out of William and Mary.
Yeah.
Anybody else? So you got a long snapper, of course, coming from William and Mary. He'll know what to do.
No, Luke does a good job. I made sure when I got in that I looked him up. I tell you, if you saw him in person, you'd say, boy, what a great looking NFL football player. So we do have a William Mary guy there, and you know that William Mary is the cradle of coaches. We've taken that title from Ohio U. So we've got coaches and players in the NFL. It's not just an academic school. It's a football factory.
Well, and then the other neat thing about the Colts is you've got probably the oldest player in the NFL, your kicker.
Yeah.
Adam Vinatieri, I think 45 years old, and he's still very productive.
Yeah, Adam's one of the guys that even when I was there in my first stint, did a great job of taking care of his body. He made sure that he ate the right things, that he worked out, that he never got out of shape, and it's paying off in his later years. He's still as accurate, still as strong as he was in his younger days. So good to have Adam back. It's always nice to see a familiar face when you get back, and we're looking forward to him kicking some field goals and winning some ball games when they're tight.
Now, when do you report to camp? When do the players have to report to camp? What's that situation?
Yeah, the coaches get in on the 21st, and the players will be rookies and injured vets the next day, and then our vets will come in 3 days later. So the little bit of a staggered start to so that the rookies can get a little bit of a jump on camp.
All right, now of course the division. You've got the likes of Jacksonville really, really woke up a lot of people last year, and this team can really put points on the board, and their defense is maybe the best, arguably the best in the NFL. So obviously, I know you're going to have to make your switch in from that tough black and blue division of Detroit, Chicago, Minnesota. Chicago, now you got to put your eyes on the division you're in now. Have you got a chance to really look at those teams, or not got to that point yet?
You know what, I haven't, and not because I don't respect the guys, because it is a tough division, and Jacksonville does play a great defense. But right now we're just worrying about ourselves, making sure that we have our ducks in a row, making sure that our guys are digesting the playbook, that the culture is what we want and how we want it, and the players are doing what we want, and we'll focus in on them when that time comes. But first of all, first things first, we want to make sure that we're doing the things that we need to do to better ourselves, and then we'll worry about our opponent.
Well, and I said, I'm looking now at the schedule. You open up with Cincinnati, and you'll be playing the NFC East. You'll be making a trip to Washington, as close as you can get to our area. Week 2, you'll be in Washington, and then you got Philly, you got Houston, New England, and then I look at Week 8, you got some team called the Oakland Raiders, and I think you remember I'm a big-time Raider fan.
Yeah, I do.
I remember you telling us one time on one of these interviews that of all the teams in the NFL, when the Raiders come off a plane or out of a bus, that's a team that always looks like there's the prototype NFL team. And, of course, with John Gruden back this year, I'm interested to see what happens in Raiderville, because last year was a big disappointment.
Yeah, well, their quarterback was hurt. It's always tough, and I know that that's what's so amazing about. I know you mentioned the Raiders, but that was so amazing about Philly, that their quarterback got hurt, and they still won the championship and the Super Bowl, and it's always tough when your quarterback goes out. So hats off to Philly, the coaching staff, the front office, to keep that going. But yeah, the Raiders have always been a typical off the bus first type of team, where the guys could run, they looked athletic, and they were giants. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how it all shakes out with Gruden and what they do with their guys. I do know that offensively he's always been a great mind, always been tough to defend with the West Coast offense, and did some innovative things. So that's always going to be a tough ball game.
You know, and the other thing, Alan, I think in your career you've been blessed to work with guys like a Mike Tomlin, Tony Dungy, Jim Caldwell, guys that not only can get it done on the field, but great people off the field, great family people, great mentors. As you work now, and you've worked with Frank before, Frank Wright, the new head coach, how does he fit the mold of the guys you've had in the past?
No different. Frank, I think people sometimes mistake that if you're a family guy, you're not getting done what you need to do in the office. But we're a firm believer that when it's time to work, you work, and you work hard, and then when it's time to spend time with the family, you do that equally as hard, and you put equally as much time into the family. And there always, in my mind, there always needs to be a balance. And you don't want to get that out of kilter. And so we make sure that we grind it, and we put it in our time, and we work out the details, and then when it's done, we put that to bed, and again make sure we put the time into the family, so that the old saying, happy wife, happy life. And so when your wife and your kids and your family are intact, it makes it much easier to do your job in the office. And Frank is a firm believer in that, not just in words, but actually in practice. So I'm excited to be back with him, because he's a good coach, good person, and we're looking forward to winning some ball games with him.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're very happy for you, because we know when Jim got let go at Detroit, when the head coach goes, staff goes, and you don't know where the guys can end up, and it's a tough profession that you're in, but, testament to you, 18 years. And again, I'm not going to say this just because you're on the air, but people know it. You fit right in the mold with those guys that you've worked under, Dungy, Tomlin, all those guys, in terms of how you are. That's what's always impressed me about you, is what drew my interest in becoming a friend for you was you're the same way. I've never seen you get angry. I've never seen you get upset. So even Keel, you were tremendous with kids, absolutely tremendous with kids. I've learned a lot from you in the coaching, even though I don't do football. We miss you dearly from these parts, but I'm so happy that you're back in it again, and that people of your nature will never be out of a job because people be fools not to hire you. I just hope someday maybe you get that chance to be a head coach in that league. And I know it's a tough position, but you're doing a great job, and just keep it going. And again, we're very happy for you down here in the Tidewater area, and we're speaking to you. There's a camp going on right now. Leroy Reynolds, who now signed with the Eagles, Maury High grad, played with the Falcons the last couple of years. He's at a camp, and we're in Norfolk right now, so a little bit of your old stomping grounds here. And I'm going to wish you the best. My producer tells me we got to get moving. So give my love to Lisa, to the boys, and like you said, happy wife. I can tell you right now, you don't keep Lisa happy, we'll never hear of you again. that I can attest to. Yeah, Lisa don't play. Lisa does not play. So give my love to them. Tell the kids they will look good in red and black. Whatever they want, they'll get from me. I don't deal in the illegalities, but I need players. So look, we'll talk to you down the road somewhere. Wish you absolutely the best in Indianapolis, and be looking for you when you guys get on the TV. We'll be watching for you on the sidelines unless they put you up in the box, and wish you the best, Alan.
Oh, thanks, Ed. Always good to speak with you, talk with you, and catch up. Look forward to whenever we get back in town to catch up.
I'll be waiting for my Colt T-shirt, XXX. I'm still waiting for my Tampa Bay shirt and that too, but that's okay. So when you get time, let me know.
Okay, will do.
All right, Al. Take care now.
Okay, Ed. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, that was Alan Williams, the new defensive back coach for the Indianapolis Colts, his second stint in Indianapolis, formerly of Norview High School, William and Mary grad, and one of the best in the business. So glad to get a chance to get him on before he goes to camp. We're going to go ahead and take a break right now. You're listening to ESPN Radio High School Sports Talk.